Hello students, how are you all? I hope everyone's fine. In last class we learned different types of function. Maybe you remember, starting from constant, identity, polynomial, rational, modulus, signum, greatest integer function, sine function. So one problem I gave as a homework, maybe you completed. Suppose if you have any doubt related to that, then tell me, okay, message me, I'll reply to your clear your doubts. Okay, after sin x and cos x, the next trigonometric function is tan x. So I'm going to discuss now the graph definition of sin x as well as graph, domain and range. So if I solve tan x, you are going to solve cot x as a homework problem. After that I'm going to discuss secant x and you are going to answer cosecant x as a homework problem. Okay, the next function is tan x. I hope you remember tan x function opposite by adjacent, but ಇಲ್ಲಿ definition use ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. So in detail I'm not going to define. See, remember, a function f from R to R defined by f of x is equal to tan x is known as tangent function, Okay, so function definition, it's not that important, so just remember it is from R to R defined by f of x is equal to tan x. So next important work is the graph. Okay, so idu perfect ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಬೇಕು, remember that. Okay, listen carefully. Now I'll show you how to write the graph. You can write table if you want, but without that also it is possible. Observe carefully. The angles, x-axis nothing but angles, remember, not numbers. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ minus pi by 2 minus pi minus 3 pi by 2 here. Okay, 0 1 2 3 you can mark like it's not an issue. Okay, now recall the trigonometric function standard angle or tan of standard angle. First tell me what is tan 0 alva, tan 90 degree infinity. So observe carefully, at 90 degree it is unbounded, andre see in between tan 30 1 by root 3, tan 45 1, so tan 45 banದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So slowly increases but never touch the line. Okay, because at pi by 2 it does not exist, which is does not exist, tan function does not exist, so it will increase like this. Adhe tara, okay, in minus pi by 2, see even in second quadrant, you know, it's just decreasing because negative values. So okay, first increases slowly, then suddenly increases and reaches to minus infinity. Slowly decreasing, suddenly decreasing, but again it does not touch minus pi by 2. So this is one part of the tan function. Now for every interval of pi by 2, of every interval of pi, it will take, okay, in the same pattern. Okay, it increases, sudden increases, never touch the line. Okay, like this. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ತರ decrease ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ and sudden decreases. So it should be a smooth curve. Okay, like this. This is a graph of tan x. Suppose ಇಲ್ಲಿ part ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, okay, ಅದೇ ತರದ work. So like this. So it will continue for every interval of pi. The same shape will repeat for every interval of pi. Okay, so I hope you understood what I mean by function tan x from its definition and the graph, alva? Clear right, alva? From its definition and graph, I hope you understood exactly how tan function will be. Now you should understand, okay, how to write its domain and range. What is a domain and range? So can you tell me what is the domain? Is it all the real number is allowed? No, here domain is at every multiple of pi by 2, pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, 7 pi by 2 and so on. Andre odd multiples of pi by 2, 2n plus 1 of pi by 2, the input is not allowed, because for pi by 2, if the input is pi by 2, what is the output? Does not exist. If the input is 3 pi by 2, what is the output? Does not exist. If the input is minus 3 pi by 2, what is the output? Does not exist. So when the output does not exist, that input is not allowed. So similarly, okay, you have to remove all the odd multiples of pi by 2, So this is the domain. What is the range? See, it take here range reaches maximum plus infinity, alva? here it will reach as minus infinity. So it is minus infinity to plus infinity, and this is nothing but set of all real number. Remember that, set of all real numbers, any real number. There's no restriction for range. There's no restriction for range in tan function, but domain is restricted for r minus odd multiples of pi by 2. So please remember domain, range, graph and the function. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಇದೇ ತರದ್ದು, ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಕಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್, ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಟ್. ಸೊ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸೇಮ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಪ್, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು secant x. So function is defined like this: f from r to r defined by f of x is equal to secant function secant x. This is not a big deal, the definition is not an issue, but understanding the graph is most important, as well as its domain and range. So try to understand the graph, observe carefully, because ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಅದು ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲಿ. Again, angles are nothing but on the y-axis 0, pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi. ಇಲ್ಲೇನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಮೈನಸ್ ಪೈ ಬೈ 2, ಮೈನಸ್ ಪೈ, ಮೈನಸ್ 3 pi by 2 and so on. Here 1, 2 and so on. Here minus 1, minus 2 and so on. Okay, so ಇದು as usual, nothing new. Now recall the trigonometric ratios of standard angle, and for that secant x. Okay, for secant x recall all the trigonometric ratios of standard angle. So starting from 0, secant 0 bandre, what is secant 0? 1. So secant 0 will be 1. 0 in the pi by 2. Okay, just recall secant 30, 2. Secant 30 is 2 by root 3. Secant 45, root 2. Secant 60, 2. Secant 90, cos 90 is to 0, secant 90 infinity. So at pi by 2 it take again infinity, so it will be like 1 in the bharat. Okay, it cannot be less than 1, it cannot be less than 0. See, whenever it is 0 it is 1, so illinda bharat he continue agate graph. It never touch 90 degree because secant 90 degree does not exist. Negative part tagoli, second coordinate. Okay, secant of minus theta, secant of minus theta is secant theta only. So even input is negative, output will be positive. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ pi by 2, if I draw a line like this, then it will be like this. This is a one part ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಆದದ್ದು. Okay, from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So try to understand just like that between pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Okay, now we are going to understand the graph, what is the shape of the graph between pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. Pi by 2 to pi, ಯಾವ quadrant ಹೇಳಿ? Second quadrant. In second quadrant secant x is negative. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? What is secant next pi by 2? Infinity. Secant pi by 2 is infinity. Okay, or secant, okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Next secant pi, what is cos pi? plus 1, sorry minus 1. secant pi ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? minus 1 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಹೀಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. secant 90 infinity, secant 120 just go on, increases, reaches 1. Okay, reaches 1 at pi, and again start decreasing and reaches to minus infinity. Correct? So ಈ part ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಗ್ರಾಫ್? Why you are not getting any graph of secant x in this part? This is nothing but second quadrant. Second quadrant ಅಲ್ಲಿ secant negative ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರಲೇಬೇಕು. It cannot be above, okay, x axis. Okay, ಆ part ಆಯ್ತು. Next I will take this part. Between minus pi by 2 to plus pi, reverse direction ಬಂದಾಗ ಯಾವ quadrant ಹೇಳಿ? Third quadrant again it is negative. So graph at cos secant pi it is minus 1. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೀಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಗ್ರಾಫ್. So graph will be like this: is 1 minus 1, idu plus 1. Okay, so this is a graph of, ಇಲ್ಲಿ suppose ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಹೀಗೆ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡಿ, suppose ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ 2 pi ನಂತರ 5 pi by 2. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ so it will come like this. it will be like this. So this is a graph of secant x. This is a graph of secant. So I hope you understood. Okay, positive ಯಾವ quadrant ಅಲ್ಲಿ first ಮತ್ತೆ fourth quadrant ಅಲ್ಲಿ, next ಬರೋದು again first and fourth quadrant in remaining two part, and then the second quadrant and third quadrant negative. Whole thing is negative means it must come down, come below the x axis. So remember that. So I hope you can remember the graph of secant x. Okay, so next, domain and range. Domain and range. What is the domain of secant x? Is it all the outputs allowed? Yeah, real number. Is it everything is allowed? Observe carefully. Yeah, observe carefully. Pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2. Again, odd multiples of pi by 2 are removed. At every odd multiple of pi by 2 does not exist. Which one does not exist? The input does not, input is not allowed, or output is does not exist. Alva, observe carefully. Pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, minus pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2, minus 7 pi by 2, minus plus 7 pi by 2. At every odd multiples of pi by 2, secant function does not exist. So output is not exist means input is not allowed. So r minus 2 n plus 1 pi by 2. And what is the range? Observe carefully, it is not coming down 1 and it is not going up, okay, minus 1. So it is set up for all real number except the real number between minus 1 and plus 1. Set of all real number except the real numbers between minus 1 to 1. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಈ ಲೈನಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾವುದೇ ಗ್ರಾಫ್, ಅದೇ ತರ ಈ ಲೈನ್ ಇಂದ ಯಾವುದೇ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು? ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಡೌನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ 1, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ minus 1. ಸೊ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಎನಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ minus 1 to 1, and all other remaining real numbers are allowed. So it is r minus 1 to plus 1. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೀಗೂ ಬರೀತೇವೆ ನೆನಪಲ್ಲಿ, minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. Or in some textbook they will use this symbol, but don't get confused. Mod x is greater than or equal to is nothing but r minus 1 to 1, or this expression. So artha aita? So nenpille the graph of the shape of the secant x graph. One more homework, just like cot x, okay, you are going to answer one more problem as a homework problem, which is cosecant x. Because if you understood this cosecant x, you can manage very, very easily. So we completed all types of functions. So once again, if I recall, we studied types of function from constant, identity, polynomial, rational function, modulus function, greatest integer function, signum function, then sine function, cos function, tan function, secant function, cosecant function. Okay, so we learned a very big list of types of function. As I told in the previous classes, you will get one question sure for 5 marks as a question number 39. Hey keltare question, define function, draw the graph of the function, write domain and range. So this type of question is sure for question number 39, and marks for these questions, okay, is 5 marks. Remember, one of the easiest question to answer, remember that. Okay, so don't leave this question if it comes in exam. So please practice more. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ just simplification ಇಲ್ಲ, ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ, just shape, graph the shape ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Domain and range, domain almost in all the problem are only, range ಮಾತ್ರ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. Definitions also is simple. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? So I hope you will learn this perfectly, because this is an important question. Okay, moving to the next topic in this, okay, chapter, and we are coming to end of this chapter, relation function. Remember that ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2-3 problem solve ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So observe carefully, last part, simple, very simple part. Observe, listen carefully. Algebra function. See, whenever we define something new, definitely in maths we are going to learn how addition works, subtraction works, multiplication works, and division work for that. Okay, you take in a vector or a complex number, whatever you are going to learn in the future also. Okay, whenever you learn something new in maths, you are going to understand the basic operation on that. So here we learn different types of function, we learn functions. So we are going to learn how function works with the basic operations, and under the heading algebra functions. Okay, so consider two function f from r to r and g from r to r be two real valued function. Real valued function andre both domain and real range, other codomain are real. That's it, nothing special. So if you want to add two function f plus g of x, it's very simple to add f of x plus g of x. F plus g of x is defined as f of x plus g of x. Other f minus g of x defined as f of x minus g of x. Simple addition. ನೀವು ಲೋವರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ನೋಡಿದಿರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಎರಡು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ನೀವು 8th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಜಿಬ್ರಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ಅಗೇನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಫೈನಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್, ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ, ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಡಿಫೈನಿಂಗ್ and we are using it in our problems. Problem part you already know, f of x plus g of x addition, directly add two component, f of x minus g of x, multiply and divide. But whenever you dividing, please take care that g of the denominator is not equal to 0, because if the denominator is 0, division does not exist. So I hope you will you understood this. If you not understood this, don't worry, I will explain this again in the problem part. Okay, idalli special enilla, just adding. Okay, if you want, I'll just take one example for first one. Suppose if you want to find out, suppose f of x is equal to x plus 1, g of x is equal to x square plus 1, then can you tell me what is f of x plus g of x? X plus 1, as I told you, simple direct addition, nothing special. So this is nothing but x square plus x plus istೇ ಬರ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಮುಗಿತು. So I hope you can manage like this remaining 4 basic operations of functions. Understood? So you will get some work and you will get one important question for exam for 3 marks. f of x g of x ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾಲ್ಕು expression find out ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. One of the easiest question to answer, remember that. So you will get practice that for this particular work in problem section. So we are moving to, so one important exercise for this functions. We didn't solve up to now any problem in functions, so we are solving the problems in functions. Okay, now remember that. So one important type of question in function is find domain and range. Important question in the under the heading function is finding the domain and range. This is very very important even for the entrance exam also. Okay, again the favorite concept for the question paper setter, find domain of some complicated function. It is barala, so ಅದು entrance exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Okay, some complicated function ಬರುತ್ತೆ, you are going to find its domain and range. Okay, so now you have very simple 4 problems, and all these are problems from the NCERT textbook only, so you must learn it. So first question, f of x is equal to mod of minus x, and we have to find out its domain and range. See, you know already domain and range of what? Mod x. ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? What is the domain and range of mod x? Mod x na domain ಏನು? Domain is R alva, range mod x. I'm just asking about mod x. It is including 0 to infinity. This is a domain and range of the mod x. But here what is asked? We need a domain and range of minus mod x. So ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳಿ? See, one easy method is that if you are not able to write directly, it is not compulsory to write this table, but if you are find difficult to write domain and range of any function, this table will help you to write its domain and range without any problem. Observe carefully. Take some positive value, take some negative value. This is already we did in a graph alva. Iದೇ method use ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು draw ಮಾಡಿದ graph ಅನ್ನ, as well as using same method we wrote domain and range for the standard function. Okay, so we will fill some positive value, okay, first, and negative value, and observe the output. 0 iddaga 0 only, because minus 0 does not exist alva, only 0 only. Put x equal to 1, minus 1. Put x equal to 2, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So what will happen? Tell me, what is a range? What is a range? Okay, we'll start from the domain. Domain in another problem there. Any element in the second row does not exist, not defined. No, such problem is not there. So domain is nothing but real number, set of all real number, nothing but R. No confusion illa. What about range? What is the maximum biggest value? As this go on increases, what is the biggest value? New negative value haki positive ಬರುತ್ತೆ, but outside minus sign alva, so it reaches to infinity alva. E direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ 100% you will reaches to infinity, correct? ha ಅದೇ ಈ direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ 0 negative positive direction ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ you will get minus infinity. So what is the range? Again, set of all real number. See, the difference between mod x and minus mod x is, observe carefully. Mod x range, it takes it gives only the positive value, it gives only the positive value, 0 ದಿಂದ infinity ಮಾತ್ರ ಚಾನ್ಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. 1 ಹಾಕಿ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್, minus 1 ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು, minus 1 ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು, okay, it is negative only, right? Even for minus 1 it gives negative values only. So observe carefully here, I did one mistake, observe carefully. See, even for the minus 1 it gives minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 only. So it gives only the negative real number andre here it can minimum values does not exist, it will reach us to minus infinity only, this side is not there. What is the maximum value? 0. Maximum value 0. So this is a range. So it always take output is always negative, it cannot be positive, okay, because of this minus sign. And you know mod x is always positive, because of that minus sign, positive or negative of a always positive real number is always negative, so it can take 0. So maximum value 0, minimum value does not exist, so range is minus infinity to 0. Therefore range is minus infinity to 0. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬರ್ದಿದೆ, ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನೆನಪಿರ್ಲಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್. ಸೊ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಸ್ minus infinity to 0. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಡೊಮೇನ್ is R, range is minus infinity to 0. I hope you understood. Yes, very good. Next question. F of x is equal to root of 9 minus x square. F of x is equal to root of 9 minus x square. Okay, see here also you can directly write the domain and range from the table. Okay, if you want I'll give you the two different method. Confusion agadre beda. Okay, just observe carefully. Table method is the best method because you will understand its output clearly. See this 0 1 2 3 4 5 minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus 4 sort of diagram. This is just for you, it's not part of the solution. Remember nim information ashte. 0 hakidage enagutte x equal to 0, root of 9 andre 3 alva. Put x equal to 1, root of 9 minus 1, root 8. Put x equal to 2, 9 minus 4, root 5. Put x equal to 3, 0. Put x equal to 4, 9 minus 16, root of negative number does not exist, not defined. In any value haki, not defined you are getting. From 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, for every such output, the output does not exist. So now come to the negative points. Minus 1 haki then barate root 8, root 5, 0 and not defined again. For all this value does not exist. So it's very clear that domain is this not real number. Why? It cannot be real number, all real number. For all the output for each and every input there is no output exists. So output exists for only few. So up to which point output exists? Up to 3. Positive side up to 3 output exists, because from 4 does not exist. Illi negative side ali minus 3. So this is a domain. Domain is minus 3 to plus 3, because from 3 you put 3.1 does not exist, 3.1001 does not exist. Which one? Output does not exist. So domain is from minus 3 to plus 3. Domain is from minus 3 to plus 3. Artha aita? Not all the real number is allowed, only the real number between minus 3 to 3. So can you tell me what is the range by observing the second row? Second row observe ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ರೇಂಜ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ರೇಂಜ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ ನಿಮ್ ರೇಂಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಟು ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್. Range word is not new for you, right? So range word anne exact meaning anne use ಮಾಡೋದು. Range ಅಂದ್ರೆ minimum to maximum. So in the second row, which is a minimum value, can you tell me? The second row, see, you know square root of something cannot be negative, and then output negative ಆಗ ಚಾನ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Output must be positive, and it must start from 0. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. Whether it will take 0, yeah, it will take 0, so no doubt. Positive ಅಂದ್ರೆ 0 ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. Only how to check whether 0 is allowed or not. Yeah, 0 is allowed because 0 is there in the second row, alva. What is the maximum value you can see in the second row? See, 0, root 5, root 8, root 3. Next we positive number ತಗೊಂಡು ಅಷ್ಟೇ, root 3, root 8, root 5, 3. So 3, root 8, root 5, which is the biggest number? Root 8 ಅಂದ್ರೆ 3 ಬರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ root 9 ಬರ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ root 8 definitely must be less than 3. So root 5 no need to check, because definitely it is less than 3. So the maximum value is 3. So minimum value is 0, maximum value is 3. So range is between 0 to 3. That's it, over. Ali ಯಾವ method follow ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ mention ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. You can use any method. So if you use a table method, you can predict easily what is domain and range. Okay, only prediction is required. The method is not important. You can use any method to get it. Okay, if you practice this method, it will be very very useful for entrance exam. Okay, table method confusion ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ careful ಆಗಿ ಬರೀರಿ value. ಇಲ್ಲಿ values ತಪ್ಪು ಬಂದ್ರೆ you definitely will get the wrong answer only for domain and range. So I hope you understood. Remember, this is one very important question for 2 marks, right? Domain and range, root of 9 minus x square for 2 marks. Remember that, okay? So I hope you understood how to get the domain and range. Yeah. So come next problem. problem, come back to okay, one more same type of work, that is root of x minus 1, root ಅಲ್ಲಿ 9 minus x square ಇತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ root of x minus 1. Yeah, you can follow again the same method. Okay, here I'll do one thing. I told here I'll give you two method, right? One table method and a direct method. Here I'll explain first direct method. Suppose if you understood direct method, follow that direct method in the previous problem, practice yourself. Okay, so in direct method you are not writing the table. Okay, table is not necessary. Suppose artha agilla antadre heli, okay, I'll show you the table method also. Okay, the direct method is, you know that inside square root everything should be positive, and can it be equal to 0 alva? It can be equal to 0 also. Okay, now x minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0, so this implies x is greater than or equal to 1. The values of x nothing but domain, so this implies, what is the domain? Domain is starting from 1 and reaches to infinity. This direction is nothing but that one. Like in first quiz you learn inequality, x is greater than or equal to 1 means it is 1 to infinity, and it represents domain of the function. Now can you tell me what is the range? So what is the minimum value? Square root of something cannot be negative, alva? Square root of something cannot be negative, so it starts from 0 and it can take any number, because you put any values for x, it will give the answer. Okay, if it is more than 0, okay, 2 1 0 2 3 anything, okay, it is 1 to infinity, any value you can give, so maximum is infinity. So this is the range. Hೀಗೂ analyze ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, or you write table this. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಗೆ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, you will understand both method for both problem. Got it what I'm telling? So you can observe and write the domain and range like this. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ? So important question ನೆನಪಿಲ್ಲಿ. Last question under this heading, find domain and range. f of x is equal to mod of x minus 1. Okay, see mod of something. Okay, domain ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇದೆಯಾ? For modulus function, definitely there will not be any issues in the domain. For every real number it will give some output. For every real number it will give you some output. Modulus function. Denominator illa antadre modulus function will be defined for all the input. So domain is nothing but R. What is the range? What is the range? See, what is the minimum value of this? Yeah, since it is modulus, definitely output cannot be negative, alva? Adu confirm, adle ಏನು confusion illa. The only question is whether it will start from 0 or okay other than 0, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 0 ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, 0 ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, only you have to check that. Can it be equal to 0? Yeah, when x equal to 1 it can be equal to 0, so definitely it start from 0, and you know modulus function reaches to infinity, so the range of this function is 0 to infinity. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್, ಈ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. So I hope you understood these 4 problem to write domain and range. So we completed one important part of this exercise, writing the domain and range. So in next classes we will discuss about the algebra of functions and little difficult problem from the domain and range. It is simple questions but difficult cases there that we will discuss in next class. Thank you.